So it's been a minute since the Spider-Man video, so I think I should make an actual video that isn't a reaction right now. So, since the Tournament of Champions is coming to an end, since we're now in the semifinals, I think it's time I make a video on that, given that all the matchups are now revealed. So, how about I do my usual thing and rank them, see which ones are my favorite. I want this thing to just be a quick thing I can get out so I can just have something out and just say my thoughts on each of these matches. So don't expect something that's very in-depth or anything. I just want to get something out. As for the reviews, I still am planning on making some for, what did I miss? Colt vs. Alex, Freezer vs. Megatron, Gojo vs. Makima, and Scooby vs. Courage. But honestly, with how close we are to the finale, I might just wait until I'm able to do a whole season ranking. I do really want to make one for at least Scooby vs. Courage, but we'll just have to see. Anyways, let's not waste any time and just get to the ranking. Starting at the 32nd spot with a name that I'm definitely going to pronounce wrong, Kasen Ibaraki versus Fleetway Sonic. Yeah, you're going to see a lot of similarities between these first few, and I'm not an anime fan. I don't really watch a lot of anime. The only one I've actually, watched is One Punch Man, which is why I yelled that during our Scooby vs. Courage reaction, even though it was an Azura's Wrath reference. So, that's my bad. But, yeah. And also, now that I said that, I realized that Toho, or however you say it, isn't an anime, it's like a game. But I don't play a lot of anime games, or anime-style games either. I'm, pissing off so many Toho fans right now, I probably am. But yeah, I have, zero interest in it. And something I forgot to say in the intro is that these are my personal opinions, and I have I have nothing against any of these matches at all. It's just some of these are matches that I don't care for, or matches that have series that I do not care for. And Toho is one of those. Yes, it has Sonic, and I like Sonic, but I don't know anything about the Fleetway comics, at all. And plus, Sonic has already been on the show, 3 separate times. And while seeing him back I'd be okay with it. The more times the character is used, obviously the less interested I'm gonna be in them coming back. And that especially holds true for him coming back against a character that I don't really have any interest in, at all. So yeah, I'm sure it could be a cool match, and I don't know the name of the person who really wants it, but there's this guy on Twitter that, really wants it, and if it does happen, then I'd be really happy for him, but unfortunately, I just do not care about this match at all. Alright, moving on, we got something that is really gonna hurt King, but Ragna versus Velvet Crow. Yeah, I'm sorry, this is kind of the same case with two characters that I just don't really care about. Mainly the series. Ragna and Crow and an extension, Blaze Blue, and I think it's Tales of Berserkia or something. Or just characters in the series that I have no attachment to at all. But King really wants this one, so I mean, hey, that kind of put it above Kasen versus Sonic. So there you go. Luke versus Saber is, yeah, another one of the series that I don't really care about. Sorry, Fate fans. I know a lot of people want Fate to get on the show, and yeah, it's gotta happen eventually, because I hear Fate is a pretty big series, but I just don't have any connection to it at all. And Luke coming back is really cool, but personally, I I think I'd rather have him fight the guy from Dune. I don't remember his first name. Just because Dune is, like, kind of like a rival to Star Wars. I don't know exactly, like, if they're, like, rivals, if they came out near the same time. But they've got some connections, and they're very similar. So I think that match should happen instead, personally. But again, I would not be against Luke versus Saber. I just really wouldn't care for it a whole lot. Now, next up, we got something that's really gonna hurt Jaden, but Monokuma versus Koro Sensei. Yeah, you called it. Same thing as the last 3. 2 series that I don't really have a lot of investment in. But I mean, at least I've, like, actually, like, know a little bit about Danganronpa and Assassination Classroom, so there's that. If Koro Sensei isn't fighting Sans, then I'm probably not gonna care. But again, Jaden still really wants it, so that makes me want it too. Shulk vs. Lightning is not the same as the last 4, where they're series that I don't know a whole about, because I do know quite a bit about Xenoblade and Final Fantasy. It's just, they're 2 series that I haven't really gotten into. I've played through most of 7 Remake, but that's about all I got with Final Fantasy, and the most amount of experience I have with Xenoblade is from Smash Bros. So, yeah, I'm obviously not too deep. But Shulk is a character I could see being really fun in Death Battle, and we really need more Final Fantasy representation that isn't from 7. So, yeah, this one would be pretty fun. Spike vs. Revy. Yeah, we need Cowboy Bebop sometime on the show. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I've heard it's, like, really, really popular, so we need it sometime. And this match for anime matches seems to be more like, I don't know if toned down's the right word, but it's not, like, over-the-top, like, high action, flying all around, shooting lasers and all that. We haven't really had a lot, if not, like, any anime fights where, like, things are, like, relatively ground level. So I think they'd need to do this one at some point. This and, Sly Cooper versus Lupin the Third would be great ways to give us a more grounded anime fight. So, yeah, I think I'd enjoy this one. Sailor Moon versus Madoka. Don't have a whole lot to say about Sailor Moon versus Madoka, but I mean, it'd probably be cool. If it's anything to go off of with Beerus versus Galactus, then I think it'd be fun. And plus, Sailor Moon needs to be on the show at some point, so yeah. Scott Pilgrim needs to be on the show, like, sometime really soon, but I'd much prefer him fight Travis Touchdown instead. Again, what is it, like, I don't know the name of the anime, but Kazuma's series isn't... Yeah, again, it's a series that I don't really care too much about. But, yeah, I think it'd still be fun. Why not? Peacemaker versus Soldier Boy. It's kind of basic. It's a DC fight against the boys. And I do need to watch the boys, but I haven't yet, so I don't really have a lot of connection to Soldier Boy. But like I said with Spike versus Revy, we need more grounded fights, like, in general, not just with, like, anime, so... Yeah, I'd be down for it. Luce versus Anne, yeah, it's been getting thrown around a lot, and honestly, I'm kind of surprised it lost to Monokuma versus Koro Sensei, if I'm being completely honest. But yeah, still haven't checked out their shows and don't really plan on it. But I think the fight dynamic would be, like, really interesting. Their power sets are, like, so different, and it would provide some really good choreography. So I'd be very excited to see the animation, and the analyses I think could be pretty cool too, since while I haven't checked it out the shows, I'm pretty familiar with them in a way. So yeah, I'm not sure if they're doing any of these matches for season 11, because I'm pretty sure, like, if they lost, they still have a chance to happen in the next season. The only one that's, like, guaranteed to happen is the one that wins. So, yeah, I think it's still entirely possible we could get this one in season 11. We'll just have to see. Percy Jackson versus Zagreus. While I do kind of prefer Percy Jackson to fight Harry Potter and Zagreus to fight Pitt, I mean, I'd be down for this one. I think it'd be cool. And like I've been saying for a few series and characters, Percy Jackson needs to get on at some point. Actually, you know what? Just book characters in general need to get on more often, as well as indie games too. So, yeah, those happening would bring in some representation from both. Nice. I think the hype kind of died down for mythology matches after Hercules versus Sun Wukong. So, while Zeus versus Odin would be cool, I think the magic of it happening isn't really there. But I mean, it'd still be cool, so heck yeah. Now for the episode which Cap Sirius was sure was going to happen in Season 10. Lucina versus Grovyle. I really like Nintendo in general, and while Fire Emblem and Pokemon aren't some of my most favorite series they've made, I'm still, interested in them. And these are two characters that I really like. So, yeah, let it happen. While Palpatine versus Xehanort obviously is a very big match that needs to happen soon, if I'm being completely honest, I'm not really in a rush to see it. We've been getting plenty of Star Wars episodes, and plus the next one that I really want is General Grievous versus Dr. Nefarious. So while it'd be awesome and I really like Palpatine, honestly, I just don't really have a lot of interest in seeing this one right now. But I mean, it'd still be really cool to see, so I mean, yeah. Skeletor vs. Lord Zed is a matchup that has been getting pushed by the Death Battle crew for the Skeletober celebration, and we need more Masters of the Universe representation and Power Rangers representation as well. And I think this match would be the perfect blend of 90s cheese and then serious, rawness. Also, it has, easily my favorite thumbnail out of all the thumbnails they've made for this thing, so it gets bonus points for that. While God of War and Azura's Wrath are games that I haven't really played a whole lot of, they're games that I do want to get into sometime, and plus, the animation for this just sells me on this match. While it's not my personal favorite for both, I think the sheer potential of Kratos versus Dante, as well as Azura versus Atrocitus, just makes me like those matches a bit more. I think this match makes up for that with sheer rawness. Honestly, if we can just get 3 minutes of awesome shots, then I'd be happy. So, not my preferred, but I'd probably still really like it anyway. X vs. Optimus Primal is really cool. We need more Mega Man representation and Transformers reps too. We've only been delving into the main Decepticons and Autobots, and I think some more of the diverse sets of Transformers from Beast Wars and other eras of Transformers would be really cool to see on Death Battle. Also, it wouldn't hurt for Mega Man X to have a more dedicated analysis, given that his one in the Mega Man Battle Royale was heavily simplified. And also Cap really wants this one, so heck yeah. Like I said earlier, we need more grounded fights, and Ellie vs. Clementine fits that criteria to a T. I'd want it to be similar to Leon vs. Frank, but not in tone. Because while Resident Evil and Dead Rising do have some serious moments and implications, those two series are more silly with the zombie genre. Maybe silly isn't the right word, I guess more over the top. Unlike with The Last of Us and Walking Dead, where they're treated as more grim, serious stories, down to earth. And I think that having a crowd of zombies that are treated more like a threat, as Ellie and Clementine have to take time to kill them instead of just mowing them down like they did in Leon vs. Frank, on top of trying to kill each other, scavenging supplies, and avoiding death at every last turn, would make for a really intense fight. So I'm really hoping this is one of the fights that they do decide next year, even though it lost. Because the more I think about it, the more I really want to see it. Even though I'm not too into Last of Us or Walking Dead in general. Well, Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius, and Dexter's Lavatory are two cartoons that I haven't really delved into at all. I still think all their machines and gadgets would make for a very interesting fight dynamic. And also, we need more cartoons in general. More specifically, like, non-action cartoons. Some of you may be surprised to see this matchup this high up, but honestly, I really just kind of like the vibe of Naruto versus Luffy, or more so like the aesthetic. I just think it'd make for a fun, intense episode. And as I've said before, Luffy needs to get on, like, soon. And with Gear 5 just being introduced in the anime, I feel like it's a perfect time to bring him in. And while I said versus Plastic Man in my Season 10 predictions, I think Naruto is my preferred for him, mainly just because of, like, the Big 3 rivalry would finish out, like, that sort of mini tournament, I guess. So I think this would be fun. I haven't seen any of the How to Train Your Dragon movies, and I've watched Big Hero 6, like, once, but that was about it. But the last duo fight we got was Ratchet and Clank versus Jak and Daxter, all the way back in Season 3, over 7 years ago, so we're long overdue for a 2-on-2. And hey, this match happening would probably finally make me watch these movies. So, yeah, make it happen. Oh, and plus we need more animated movies too. With how good Balrog vs. TJ combo was, we really need a spiritual successor to it, and Little Mac vs. Ebo is the perfect candidate for that. Not much to say here, I just think a good old boxing match would be a fun time. And now we come to the top 10. Kicking it off with Ryu vs. Goku, but composited. You know, it really does suck that this matchup was being put down for being a quote-unquote joke match. And I think people really need to learn the difference between what is a silly fight and a joke fight. Because in no way is this meant to be a joke. Not only would it open the floodgates for composite characters and allow them to test that out, but with all the stuff these two have been in, I feel like the fight and analyses would be really, really fun. It did lose, and honestly, I don't really see it happening in Season 11. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But I hope they come back around to it, because I think there's some genuine potential for it. Freddy vs. Pennywise was on my most wanted list, and while I have stated a few times that I do want to rework my top 25, because I feel like that list was kind of outdated, and honestly a little inaccurate even for the time. But Freddy vs. Pennywise is still on there as of right now, so yeah, I really want to see it happen. I'm really hoping this Mysterio vs. Scarecrow or Luigi vs. Pac-Man happens for the Season 11 Halloween matchup. All three I would be really hyped for. Frieza vs. Megatron did give us a sort of height difference dynamic, but personally I don't feel like they really took advantage of it. So that's why I really want Hulk vs. Godzilla. While it's not necessarily too popular among the consensus, I really like these two characters, and seeing them fight would just be so awesome. And I think they really need to try out a match that has this big of a height difference. One where they have to be close up and scaled accurately. Unlike with Frieza vs. Megatron, where they could reasonably get around that. And very unlike Optimus Prime vs. Gundam, where the height difference just wasn't there at all. So yeah, be super down to see it. The sheer endless creativity of Sackboy vs. Maxwell provides a matchup that I'd really love to see. Don't exactly got a whole lot to say on it, but I think it'd make for a very fun and lighthearted time. Now, this next one is kind of like a guilty pleasure for me, but Scorpion vs. Wolf. I'm not too into Mortal Kombat and haven't played Sekiro at all, but like I said in my Chosenborn review, that episode really made me want to check out the Soulsborne type games, and I think Sekiro would be a very fun one to delve into. And also, I'm just imagining like a 3D fight between these two like types of characters. and I just think it'd be super, super intense. I just kind of like the aesthetic it gives off. It'd be fun. While I'm not too into the game anymore, I had a massive Undertale phase in elementary school, and I'm a little bit cringy on it, but I still am nostalgic for the game. And during that time, seeing Sans on Death Battle was one of my most wanted things. So seeing it actually happen would be, like, dreamlike. Off seems alright, but I'm pretty much here for Sans, honestly. Though the judge seems pretty cool, not gonna lie. I'm gonna say something that's gonna ruin my online presence as a whole, but I'm a fan of Family Guy. Yes, even with the new seasons. I still think they're pretty funny. And I haven't watched much of The Simpsons, but it seems alright. I think I'm just a more Family Guy type of guy. But I still would love to see these two characters be genuinely analyzed in a versus setting. Although I'm not sure if I'd want them to take the same route as they did with Scooby vs. Courage, where they take their crossover into account with the episode and make it so they know each other in the animation. That did work really well for Scooby vs. Courage, but I'm not sure if that'd work as well for Peter vs. Homer. It probably would, but I'll just let the Death Battle team figure it out. We need a Christmas match badly, and the Grinch vs. Jack Skellington is probably the biggest contender for a Christmas matchup. One of the only contenders, actually. My family is really big on the Grinch. We love all three of the animated films, and so do I. Well, honestly, except the live-action one, I don't really like that one, I'm not gonna lie. And while I've never sat down and watched Nightmare Before Christmas, I think Jack Skellington is a fun character from the few things I've seen him in. And I think him being paired up against the Grinch's grumpy attitude would make for some great banter and dynamic. And again, Christmas time. I love Christmas time. I want a Christmas matchup so badly. And finally, we have the two matches that are practically at war with each other right now. And what side am I on? Well, in second place, I'm putting in Gru versus Megamind. This match needs to happen, and I would be so hyped for it. But while the match is ridiculously fun, I feel like they should wait until Megamind's show comes out before doing this one. It's coming out next year, I believe. So I think after that would be a good time to do this match once and for all. And while I love both of these characters, I'm super nostalgic for the Despicable Me movies and really loved Megamind when I actually saw it. I wouldn't necessarily call them some of my all-time favorites. They're really good, and Gru and Megamind are some really fun characters, but I just don't really have a lot of sentimental attachment to them. But with all the gadgets, the fun banter, and just having two series that I really like being in Death Battle, makes me want this matchup so badly. And if it wins, I'd be happy. However, I'd be even more happy if what did end up winning was Wile E Coyote versus Tom Cat. Tom is my most wanted character on Death Battle. Tom and Jerry was probably the biggest piece of my childhood besides Mario. I could never say how much that series means to me. I have so many memories of watching it, like in the car, at my grandpa's house, all the time. I adored all the cat and mouse chases. And seeing Tom be on Death Battle would legit be a dream come true. And while I'm not as nostalgic for the Roadrunner cartoons, I still did watch a lot of Looney Tunes back in the day. And I do vividly remember really loving the Roadrunner skits. And the thing is, going back to both of those cartoons today, they still hold up. Heck, even better than most comedic cartoons today. Their legacies are unmatched, and I'd love to see both of them being on the show. Wile E means a lot to me too, and I'm pretty sure he's the generally agreed upon winner. However, I've gotten many mixed answers from this match, so it could be an interesting debate. Seeing my boy Tom lose would kinda suck, but I mean, I still really like Wile E in the Roadrunner cartoon, so yeah. Plus, I'd much rather see him get in and lose than never get in at all. So I'm good with either taking it. I just really hope this one wins. It would mean so much to me to finally see this match happen. Also, if you don't know, it's the matchup that I pushed for before the Tournament of Champions even started, so that would be really cool. Even if it loses to Groove vs. Megamind though, I'd still win, so I'm in a pretty good position right now. And that's that. That's my thoughts on every single one of the matchups presented in the Tournament of Champions. While I said I don't care for a good number of these, I hope you guys know that that doesn't mean I don't like them. I just don't really have any real interest in them. Hey, we all got different tastes in matchups. That's why I think this Tournament of Champions was the best way to give us a vote for an episode in Season 11. It allows us to see such a wide, diverse range of matchups, and just how many people really love them. I think it's beautiful. But yeah, those are my opinions. What match do you or did you want to win the whole thing? Say it down below. Alright, make sure you follow me on Twitter to get more updates on my videos. I'll try to get my Scooby vs. Courage review out soon enough, and then I'll think about doing the other reviews. We'll just have to see. Anyways, have a good one, and vote for Wile E vs. Tom, please!